Hi, how's it going? Thanks so much for joining me today. So today I have a mixed haul, as you guys probably saw from the title. And yeah, so I'm going to start with the nonfiction, and this first section will be from the library, and then the last section is all new books. Yeah, and as always, usually for most of my hauls, it's like, mixed. This one's nonfiction, kids nonfiction, middle grade, and then some adult fiction and maybe a couple adult nonfiction. So the first one is a book that's pretty popular. I know I've seen other homeschoolers talk about it and show it and stuff like that, but I wanted to check it out for myself because I'm really kind of trying to figure out what I'm going to do for fifth grade. Right now, if you're not familiar with my channel, I am homeschooling a fourth grader. Complete middle school study guide, everything you need to ace American history in one big fat notebook. So they have a bunch of these, they have American history, world history, science, math, English. So after seeing these go around online, I wanted to check it out for myself because for fifth grade, I'm thinking of kind of winging history. I'm not really sure. I still haven't made up my mind what I want to do for history yet for fifth grade. So I wanted to really check this out and see how long the chapters were, et cetera, et cetera. So I do for sure want to do American history for fifth grade, and this is prehistory through the early 1600s, and then here's the chapters: colonial America, and then American Revolution, American expansion up to the 1861, Civil War and Reconstruction, reshaping the nation, world wars up to the 1930s in modern America, World War II, post-World War II, and then this one, I think there's an updated version, but that's not a big deal for me. But I think this one, let's see, American history and current-ish events is up to the present day. So let's see first where it ends. And let's see. To the year 2000 I see, and then 9/11, 2001. I think it kind of ends after 9/11, which is okay for me because, like I said, I do think they have an updated version because I looked at this on Amazon. I'm also going to link everything below so you guys can find it easier from Amazon, just to be easier on me to link it at one place. But yeah, so you can find these books at your library. But so, well, I guess what I was trying to say is that, so for fifth grade, I'm thinking of focusing kind of on the civil rights era. I'm not exactly even sure where I want to start with American history because we've kind of already started doing it in fourth grade. We're doing early modern history right now with Curiosity Chronicles, but I'm not buying the second part of it. So yeah, so I'm not sure where I want to start, but I thought this book might be a good guide. Let me just quit rambling and show you guys. So here's unit 1. I like how it's laid out in notebook style. I was as if you would be taking notes, obviously very schoolish, but it's nostalgic for me from the 90s. But yeah, or being in college, highlighting stuff in notebooks and stuff like that. And my daughter doesn't do a whole lot of highlighting or anything yet, but I thought it was kind of nice and easy to follow. I like the layout. It's very simple. And the chapters, some of the chapters are longer than others. I actually prefer short chapters, and then you can kind of, for me, to focus on one thing. But I do like how, it has a lot of maps, which I like. And then it has check your knowledge questions, and then it has the answers right on the back. So I really like that. I really could see us possibly using this as possibly a spine for fifth grade, but I'm not sure yet. So I kind of want to dig into it a little bit more, kind of check it out more. And then I also want to check out the English one and the science one from our library. And I don't think, because I'm really happy what we're doing. Science and history are the most confusing for me at the beginning of every school year when I'm planning. But yeah, so this is the layout of it, you guys. And I think it's not, I'm usually drawn to books with more illustration, but I'm finding as my daughter gets older, it's really hard to find a lot of middle grade and up, middle school nonfiction books that are that have a lot of information, that have engaging illustrations on specific subjects. So you can find like a whole lot on with like science. When it comes to like history, I don't find like there's a whole lot of resources. So I really want to show that one, and I'm thinking about using it for 5th grade. The next one is just Science Comics Bridges, Engineering Masterpiece. These are just fun. I like to check them out whenever I see them. My library has them, a new one, and my daughter hasn't read this one yet. So these are really fun and engaging for kids. Science comics. So check that out from the library. And then I was really excited about these two. These are both, I think that one's kind of new too, but this is the body book, and this is the human body. So from two of our favorite publishers, this is Lonely Planet Kids, The Human Body, and DK, The Body Book. So I wanted to compare these because also for 5th grade, I'm already thinking, I'm trying to like brainstorm what I want to do. These are both, I believe, brand new. So yeah, this one was printed in 2022. And I believe this one's brand new also. And this one also is, published in 2022. So let's check this one out first. So I'm thinking of possibly doing kind of like a slight human body unit, or like just kind of focus on the human body, possibly for 5th grade. I'm still kind of thinking about it. So I wanted to just check these books out, and I thought it'd be cool to show them on video with you guys because I never looked at them before. Here's the table of contents. And so we have some books by Lonely Planet Kids. And it starts with chapter 1. I like how it has chapters. Usually you don't see that for nonfiction. Chapter 1, Seeing the World. Oh, okay, yeah. Now I see how they laid it out. Okay, the brain, memory matters. So the brain, the nervous system. So in my mind, I'm trying to figure out, like, would this be a book I would want to buy to use as like a spine, or is this something that I can just like, we can check out from the library just to kind of browse through? Oh, it's a nice vertical. Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys. It is a nice book, and it's, like I said, their brand new book. That's really nice. The gene map, and then, so it's like, it's kind of nice how you can kind of focus, say like you're focusing just on genes for like the day or the week, or a 2-day period if you're doing science for 2 days. And I like how they have it laid out. It's just, I'm just really weird and picky, but I still think it's a really nice book. I like that. Yeah. So this is just my first impression. I'm gonna still check. I'm like gonna look through it a little bit more. Okay. So now the second one is DK, the body book. And this is Blood, Bones, Guts, and More. This one's also very bright. Let's see how it's laid out. Here's the table of contents. Let's see. So this one doesn't have chapters. So I did like how the Lonely Planet Kids had like the chapters. I don't know why. I just think it's kind of fun to like, okay, we're doing chapter 1, and then I don't know. But this one doesn't have chapters. Let's see how it's grouped again. It's grouped. This one's kind of just each 2-page spread sounds like it's just a different, possibly a different part. So Your Amazing Body. So here we go. We're talking about genes and genetics. What are we made of? Types of cells. So this one also is like very bright. I'm not sure if I'm drawn to this one either necessarily, but I did flip through this one at the library. And what I do like about this one that I don't think the other one had was when you get into like learning about the different body systems, I like how it has the illustration that shows like very detailed of the difference between like the body parts. Oh wow, that's like a really, like it when you're like after you take a shower or bath and your skin gets all wrinkly. Ooh wow, yeah. That's some very detailed. I'm like I'm it's hard for me to do the human body study with my daughter because I have health anxiety. And I don't really like to look at a lot of graphics and stuff, so which is obviously like, especially if you like medical stuff, that's like what you want. But so for me, I'm like, oh wait, okay, this illustration is really good. I saw this one at the library. I thought this was one of the best illustrations I've remembered seeing, explaining just your nasal cavity. It's kind of hard, to demonstrate that. So I really like this 2-page spread. I really like this one that shows the inside of the ear, like what's going on. So I really like that. And yeah, I don't know if I'd use this one as a spine or possibly buy it, but I do think I would use it to check out and maybe kind of read through while we're studying the human body. I'm not sure yet. I know my daughter, has a mental health section and body talk, facial expressions, body language. So it covers quite a bit. I didn't flip through the other one quite as much. This one's a little bit, not as much, I don't think information, but let's see. Yeah, this one's like quite a bit thinner than this one. But yeah, so I don't know. My first impressions are I think they both have a lot of really good information. I don't know if I personally would use them for us if we do the human body for 5th grade as spines or like the main books or whatever, but I don't know. It was nice to flip through them, and I'm glad I got the chance from my library to show you also. So that was all of the nonfiction. And then now I'm moving on to middle grade fiction that I checked out for my daughter that I thought she might like. So a lot of times she kind of tells me what she wants to check out, but sometimes she goes through like a little reading rut where she kind of like is reading so much that she kind of wants something new, and she already has, the books she has at home. So I kind of was like, let me go to the library and just kind of grab some things. I honestly didn't know what I was doing because I was just looking for things that she might like. Some she did request. I'll show you guys. But this one I've seen on a lot of book lists. It's called The Trouble with Perfect. And here's the author, Helena Duggan. So I've seen this on a lot of book lists, and it says there's somebody watching you. I kind of thought it sounded like a mystery. It's like middle grade, and it's approximately 368 pages. She said she will possibly be interested in trying this book. She usually kind of reads the first chapter, like first page or a few paragraphs or, a few pages to see if she likes the writing style, which I do the same thing. And sometimes I encourage her to try a little bit longer and then see, but she already picked it up and she read the back and she said she's interested. So it says, strange things are happening in their town that used to be perfect. Things are being stolen. Then children start going missing too. And everyone is blaming Violet's best friend boy. So yeah, so it sounds like a really interesting mystery, and she said she wants to try it. And then this one was another one I literally never heard of. And I just saw it was like a giant, like it was like a series on the library, wall. And I was like, oh, that's like a series, and it looks like just the name. It's like book 1 by Angie Sage. I guess it's like magic. Okay, it's like the different spelling of magic, I guess, but it just seemed like something she'd really like. It just automatically gave me like kind of Harry Potter vibes. And this is something that she actually just read the beginning synopsis, and she said she didn't know if she'd like it. And I was like shocked because I was like, wow, it just seems something she would like. But I'm gonna encourage her to go ahead and actually, she hasn't tried it yet. So I'm encouraging her to just at least, give it a few pages. Sometimes it takes me like until I get to like a second chapter in a book. That just happened to me recently. Other times I'm impatient and I give up right away, but I kind of let her, if she's not interested, I don't force her, but I really think she'd like it. So let me just show you guys. It's like, read to you guys. The seventh son of the seventh son, aptly named Septimus Heap, is stolen the night he is born by a midwife who pronounces him dead. That same night, the baby's father, Silas Heap, comes across a bundle in the snow containing a newborn girl with violet eyes. The Heaps take this helpless newborn into their home, name her Jenna, and raise her as their own. But who is this mysterious baby girl? And what happened to their son Septimus? So already, I almost kind of want to read it. It almost kind of just like has like fairy tale-ish vibes and like a lot of mystery surrounding what's going on. So I think I'm going to try it too. But yeah, so I checked that out for her. And then these she requested because she's already read all of the other ones in the series. So this is The Unwanted Quest, Dragon's Fury by Lisa McMahon. This is book 7, and I believe this is the last one in the Unwanted Quest. And so she requested it. Yeah, she read all of the Unwanteds. They're one of her favorite books. And then she read all of the Unwanted Quest except, well, I think this one. And so this one is 466 pages. And so, yeah, it's just like, about dragons and very much fantasy. And she really, really, really loves this series. I talked about this series, The Unwanted, in one of our last videos where I talked about our favorite middle grade. So if you want to check that one out, it's one of her favorite books, The Unwanted. And then this one is Aru Shah and the Nectar of Immortality. And this one, again, this one's book 5. So she's read all of them. She's read all of them up until book 5. So she actually did start this one. This is the only one out of all the ones she actually started. And so she's did start this one. And it's also very much fantasy, and she really likes it. I have some adult fiction, and then I also have like a haul of brand new books. So this one is my only nonfiction, I believe. Yeah, that is adult. This is A Myth of Normal, Trauma, Illness, and Healing in a Toxic Culture by Gabor Mate. And I listened to him on a podcast. He just sounds really interesting. I believe he's a psychologist. And this book I waited for forever to come. I believe it just came out in 2022. Yeah, 2022. And like I said, I think he's a psychologist. It sounded very interesting hearing about him talk. And I read a lot of nonfiction. And so, yeah, it's just like our interconnected nature, distortion of human development, rethinking abnormal afflictions as adaptations, the toxicities of our culture, pathways to wholeness. And so I really like reading a lot of psychology books, and I'm going to definitely check this out. And so basically, let's see what he is. Dr. Mate. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember if he is his doctorate in psychology or what his medical background is, but I did. So he's an expert on addiction, stress, and childhood development. So I'm assuming he's a psychologist. But it says, renowned physician Gabor Mate. Renowned physician eloquently dissects how Western countries that pride themselves on their healthcare systems, chronic illness, and general ill health are on the rise. So what is really normal when it comes to health? Over 4 decades of clinical experience, Mate has come to recognize the prevailing understanding of normal as false, neglecting the roles that trauma and stress, as well as the pressures of modern-day living, exert on our bodies and our minds. So yeah, I thought it sounded really interesting. And then this book I wanted to try is The Keeper of Lost Things. So I just kind of flipped through it. I really am drawn to books that have really good prose and are character driven, not so much plot driven, but I don't mind a little mixture of that. But so this one seems like it's about a man who is someone calls him the Keeper of Lost Things, and apparently he's found all these missing things or things that people lost that are accidentally left behind. And realizing he's run out of time, he leaves his beautiful house and all the collected treasures to his unsuspecting assistant, Laura, the one person he trusts to fulfill his legacy and reunite his lost objects with their rightful owners. So it just sounded very interesting. Oh, sorry, I didn't say the author yet. It's Ruth Hogan. It sounded very interesting off the bat, just based on the fact of kind of makes me curious. So yeah, I read I think I only read chapter and a half. And already, I think the writing's good. The story sounds interesting. So I'm just going to check it out a little bit more to see if I have more interest. And then this is The Paper Palace. This is another one I waited a long time for at the library. Apparently it's very popular. And I see now why, because it says it's Reese's Book Club. Kind of reminds me of Oprah's Book Club. Those books were so popular. I guess I was in high school or middle school and those were popular, but now apparently Reese Witherspoon I guess has a book club. But a lot of her books are made like into TV shows and movies, so I don't always feel myself drawn to like popular books. Sometimes I am, but a lot of times I'll read like classics or just like older books, but sometimes I am drawn to like popular books, and this one sounded interesting. And I'm not gonna it's like very much adult, like, so I'm not gonna, it just sounds like it's just about let's see, it's just like about like supposedly a woman who's like making, like, I started to read, I read like at one chapter or a little bit more, and it's about this woman who I think she's like settled and she has kids and she's like married, and then like her kind of questioning, this is just what I gathered from the synopsis. I don't want to like read it and it be, my channel is for adults, but I know a lot of people probably have kids around, so I don't want to get too detailed with it about like the specifics. So basically it's like a story that unfolds over 24 hours, and it says across 50 years, so I'm assuming it goes back and forth, and it says it's dealing with like loves, lies, secrets, and one incident from her childhood that led to the prefaces of a life-changing decision. So it just sounds like a woman protagonist who like is dealing with things kind of like it begins, I don't know how old she is when it begins, but it just sounds like she's like questioning things that went on in her life, like in her way earlier life, and she's trying to deal with new things that have sprung up. It just sounds interesting, so I'm gonna check it out. Okay, so that's like the library haul, and now I have the actual brand new haul from mostly Amazon, some Target. So basically I'm filming this video in February, and I actually have a birthday upcoming in March, and like for my birthday I bought myself some books, so I'm gonna show you guys. So these are all books I bought for myself. One of them is middle grade, and I'm gonna encourage my daughter to read. I'm gonna start with that one. So the first one's middle grade, and it's The One and Only Bob. So I read The One and Only Ivan last month, and I really loved it. I actually reread it because I read it when my daughter was like maybe like in first grade, and then I reread it and I really loved it, and I kind of skimmed through it because like I kind of just wanted to catch up on it because I knew I was going to be getting this book. So yeah, so this is like the sequel or the second part kind of ish, The One and Only Bob. So Bob is like a character who is the dog that you meet if you read the One and Only Ivan. And The One and Only Ivan is here. It won the Newbery Award by Catherine Applegate. And so Ivan basically is this like gorilla who has this really bittersweet life where he's like in captivity, but then he kind of gets a little bit of pleasure through his friendships. And so this is Bob, who we met in the first book. And so yeah, so it'd be really fun to read this one because I just kind of caught back up on The One and Only Ivan. And so the way she writes is kind of like poetic. I'm not sure exactly how you call her prose. It's kind of like poetry. She writes with a lot of spacing in between the sentences, kind of like I forgot what it's called. I like how they have some illustrations too. It's a pretty quick read once you get going with these, and I think a lot of kids would really like these stories. And this one's 334 pages. So my daughter plans on reading The One and Only Ivan this year for towards the end of 4th grade, and then I haven't read this one yet, but hopefully it'll be just as good. And I'm still encouraging her to read The One and Only Ivan, but it's a really good book, so I'm hoping that one will be good too. Okay, so now some of these are classics. This one is Virginia Woolf, Mrs. Dalloway. I love the cover, but you know what I don't love? I don't love how they did that. Like, I really wish they would not do that. I don't mind it when it's like an award winner, you know, like this one. The next one's like winner of the Pulitzer Prize, okay? But I just don't like that. I'm just weird. It's my like art student in me. I don't okay, so because I study art in college and I like a composition I like colors to have like a vibe, and I don't like that they did that, but they did. So it did intrigue me to say, what is that? So it says companion podcast. I'd think about it. So I am going to check it out, but they could have did it another way, right? But I love the cover minus this because it's really pretty. And this is just a classic, so I'm sure a lot of you guys have read it, or if not, maybe you're not interested in reading it, but if you are, I read it in college. It was like an assigned read, and it always stuck with me. It's one of those books that just always stuck with me, and I've never owned it. I've always wanted to own it, and so for my birthday, I decided to buy it for myself. And it's like Mrs. Dalloway, and then this book takes place in the course of a single day of a woman's life in 1920s London, and it's just like also has like other characters in the book that are going through things, and it's just very deep. And so I'm not even sure how I'm going to feel about this book anymore. Reading it probably, I would say, over 20 years ago I read this book. But it's just referenced so much, that I feel like I read it yesterday, but at the same time, I'm not sure how I'm even going to feel about it. So I'm kind of interested to see if I'm going to have the same reaction of really, really loving. Like, this was one of my favorite books in my 20s, but then now I'm in my 40s, so guess we'll see. But yeah, I was excited to like repurchase it. And then this is a very special book to me. I named my daughter after the author of this book because when I was pregnant with my daughter, I watched the movie True Grit. So I actually watched the movie before the book, and I immediately bought the book. It was like a really old copy. It's very tattered and torn, and I really wanted to repurchase it as like a new copy. And what I was so excited about, and I feel like a nerd saying that's, but it's true. I was just like so excited that it has an afterword by Donna Tartt. And Donna Tartt is my favorite modern fiction author. And so I was just really excited. And I can't wait to read it and then read the afterword by Donna Tartt. I just can't wait. I've never been so excited. I've never been excited for a forward or an afterward like I have with this. And I haven't even looked at it yet. I'm like, oh gosh, like 1, 2, 3. Ooh, like any words I get to read by Donna Tartt, I'm just so excited. And I'm gonna wait till the end to read it because I'm gonna like read it and then pretend like, what does she feel while she was reading it? Because she's been such a huge influence for my reading life. I'm not an author, but for me, I just love Donna Tartt. So, I'm excited. So, I'm sorry, I'm like rambling, but basically it's about the story. True Grit tells the story of Maddie Ross, who's just 14 years old when the coward Tom Chaney shoots her father down in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and robs him of his life, his horse, and $150. Filled with an unwavering urge to avenge her father's blood, Maddie finds, and after some tenacious finagling, enlists One-Eyed Rooster Cogburn, the meanest available U.S. Marshal, as her partner in pursuit, and they head off after the killer. So yeah, I mean, this was written like a while ago. But yeah, it was like written, I think initially it was written, I think in 1968. Sometimes it's kind of confusing with all the publishing dates. I have made mistakes before. I think I'm correct. But so my daughter's name is Portis, and that's where I got the name from, was from this author. So it's very special to us. And then this is another book like I've just been having on my list that I've been wanting to read forever from the library. And then when I realized how long it was, I was like, I read pretty slow. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do a library. I'm going to have to keep reserving it. It's almost 900. It's like 850 something pages. And it won the Pulitzer Prize. And one of Donna Tartt's books won. The Goldfinch won the Pulitzer Prize. And sometimes I really love Pulitzer Prize books, so I'm really excited to start it. And I don't normally read, if you want to quote unquote say, maybe these are like, I guess you would say Westerns. I'm not even like a Western reader. Like, I don't know. But certain books I think are more, these books I think are more character driven, I think. I know this one is. This one, I'm not sure. But I know a lot of people really love this book, and I want to try it. And I thought I would buy it myself for my birthday. So yeah, so I'm definitely going to give it a try. And this also, I think, was either a TV show or a movie. I'm not sure how to say his name. It seems like it would be simple when I read it. Mertree. Okay. So yeah, so I really want to check that one out. And then now I have not a classic, it's like a modern fiction, and I have a whole video on this. But I never owned it. I just checked it out from the library. And I'm going to link the video I have if you're really interested in this book. But it's Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. Now, this book, again, why do they have to have that right here? I don't like it. I really wanted it to be all black with the rose gold. It's so pretty. And they had to put this here. And I know it's because it's saying it's a prize winner, but oh yeah, and look how pretty this is. Look at the actual hardback. So starts with, and it's, look at that. So that's really pretty. And I really am not happy that they put the that little green circle. I don't like that. I really, it didn't show this when I ordered the book, but yeah, but it is what it is. I didn't want to go search the whole internet or every bookstore for one without it, because the one I checked out from the library did not have it. Okay, so I made a whole video on this, you guys. If you're interested, it's one of the strangest, most, what do you call it? The word I look for. It's one of the strangest, most, I don't know. Just this book, it was like, stop what you're doing. I usually read a few books at once. It just really immersed me with the information. Like I was immersed in this book. I was like in this book. I feel like I was like in this book. Like it's so strange. It's so outside of anything I usually read. I usually read like realistic fiction, and this is not realistic fiction at all. And it's very hard to describe. Even that video is probably just a lot of rambling words of confusion, but it's really, I'm just going to read the synopsis real quick. Piranesi's house is no ordinary building. Its rooms are infinite, its corridors endless, its walls are lined with thousands upon thousands of statues. Within the labyrinth of halls, an ocean is imprisoned. Waves thunder up staircases, rooms are flooded, but Piranesi is not afraid. He understands the tides, and he understands the pattern of the labyrinth itself. He lives to explore the house. But then there's another man in the house called the Other, who visits him twice a week and asks for help with research into a great and secret knowledge. Okay, so I have a lot of opinions on this book, and I don't want to say them because they'll give it away. And that video does have spoilers, so sorry, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, so like you'd probably want to watch that video after you read the book. But basically, I just try to work out what I think this book is, because it's very, very, to me, it's confusing. It might not be confusing to you, and someone else might not think it's confusing, but I've read a lot of people's reviews on it, and I've read a lot of different opinions. So if you want a book that's just like really engaging in the sense that it has a lot of stuff kind of like that leaves a mystery to what's going on, why is this happening, in the sense, the beginning is a very slow start, which I personally love because I actually like slow starts. I like being inside a character's head. I could just have all character driven book if it were up to me. Like action and plot is not that important. For some people, they need it. So this book, some people might not like it for that reason, but for me, I just loved it. It had such an impact on me also, like emotionally, and in my opinion, it deals with mental illness. Someone might not think that, and they might think it's more magical and not mental illness, but every book brings up something different to each reader, right? And so for me, it was very, very deep, and I wasn't even sure I wanted to like purchase it. It took me, I think I read it and like finished it last year, December, January, February, March. It took me months and months of pondering, should I buy it? And I decided to buy it because I decided that I do want to reread it. And I decided that like I like to like do a deeper dive into it. It's very much impacted me. Okay guys, so that's it for the library and the book haul. I do plan to do a video very soon, which will be our reads for actually this month, which would be February, what we're currently reading. We have a lot of books that we're currently reading and read for February, between my daughter and I. Also want to say thanks so much for everyone who subscribes and likes and supports my channel. I really appreciate that. And if you're not subscribed, I really appreciate if you would subscribe if you find my videos interesting or useful. And yeah, so thanks so much. Have a good day or night. Bye.